Joel, and this is just a little tribute video to the legend that is Robin Williams. Because I grew up through the 80s into the 90s and now the 2000s, I have sort of just grown up with him through my childhood. I'm just going to have a little chat about him, then just say my top 5, and then be gone. So first of all, yes, as everyone has heard, Robin Williams has died at the age of 63. I won't go into the details of his death. If anyone sort of knew sort of his behind the scenes kind of life, he's had lots of strife and troubles that he's been fighting and dealing with, and eventually they have caught up with him. But let's just look at his career and how it has affected millions and millions. On my Facebook, literally I don't think there has been a single person that has not commented on him saying thank you for the memories, mentioning films he's been in, childhood memories of seeing him, and it's just such praise and just joy for one person. He's sort of brought so much. Robin Williams was a huge Nintendo fan. He even did the adverts for Skyward Sword and Ocarina of Time, the DS version. And also in these adverts with him was his daughter Zelda, who I think everyone's well wishes go to in this incredibly hard time. Because she was actually named after Princess Zelda from the Zelda series. I'll put a link to the adverts they did together, and it's just such like sweet little videos, and seeing those two together. It's good to know that Robin Williams was a nerd as well. Looking at a list of his films, there's so many I'd forgotten about. He had done a live action Popeye the Sailor Man film, including some really creepy prosthetics to make his arms and heels look big, but this was just a film that just shows just how absolutely amazing he is at like getting into a character. He's even doing the whole, he's got the eye gone for the whole film. Mork and Mindy TV show. Oh my god, I'd forgotten absolutely about that show. It used to like play on Channel 4 in the middle of the day or something when I was a kid during the summer holidays. And it was just about an alien coming down and trying to get used to human life, and he was going out, well, living with this girl called Mindy. There's stuff there. But it was just a nice little sitcom of just Robin Williams showing his weird, sort of cheerful, joyful nature. Ah, so good. It even had a crossover with Happy Days. Adventures of Baron Munchausen, one of my favourite films because it's a Terry Gilliam, such a weird film. Williams has got like a cameo in it as the King of the Moon, who is this gargantuan, giant entity. Like Baron Munchausen, who's a human, is like this big compared to him. But he also has the ability to split his head from his body. It is such a weird role and he does it so well. Film Toys, where he's a crazy toy inventor, even though it starts getting taken over by a military kind of company. Just shows his creativeness. He has that natural whimsy of a character. Flubber! The green little wobbly thing that just dances around. And oh, again, this was such a fun film at the time. A crazy inventor. And this is sort of more of a subdued role for him. He was quite a nervous and shy character in it. Comes across with buckets and buckets of charm. Jack! Now this was an interesting film. It was about a child that had a disease that made him age. So he was actually, I think, about 7 or 8, but he looked like Robin Williams. So it was him having to play a child, and again, he just fits in the role perfectly. Gets in all the mannerisms and actions of a child. This is actually, it's a fun film, but it's actually got quite a sad tone to it. Because this child is aging rapidly, so that means he's gonna die a lot sooner. It's a mix of a film, shows that it's got a nice broad range. Speaking of broad range, a film I need to see again because I think I was too young when I tried watching it the first time. 1 Hour Photograph. This is a dark, seedy film where he plays a guy that develops photo and just gets an obsession with a family. Just go and watch it. It's dark. It just shows that Robin Williams is capable of range and doing many different types of acting and styles. And yeah, Good Will Hunting. On the internet, this seems to be like one of his best ever performances and some of his best ever acting. I need to see it. I can't comment on a film that I haven't seen, but I need to go and watch this probably after this video. Beefy, who else but Robin Williams could play a vicar type penguin who's just off the wall? Jumanji. This is kind of a dark kids film. It's got a dark undertone to it, where he gets sucked into a board game and then gets released as a wild jungle man because as a child he got sucked in and then had to survive all this time. Basically think of Arrow, but even longer. This is sort of how Jumanji goes. It shows that board games can truly be evil, not video games. My favourite 5 performances we ever did was number 5, Bicentennial Man. This was such a weird film going into it, of just being a robot that's a servant to this family. Quite a long film, and it's just about this robot being upgraded to have self-awareness and just how that evolves through the film, and he becomes more and more determined and wants to become more and more like a human. And this film goes over like 30, 40 years. Probably even longer than that, because it's got a child that grows all the way up, I think, into like a near death. Williams looks like a robot, and they did such a good job of making like a simple robot design, but had a lot of his genuine like facial cues in it. And yeah, just watch this film. It's so heartfelt. It probably will make you cry, but it is such a good film with such good acting. Gully, I love this cartoon. Such a good animated film. You've also got the legendary voice work of Tim Curry in there as well as the main bad guy. He plays the comic relief sidekick of Batty, who's a bat that was experimented on by humans, so he's got a screw loose. So it gives Robin Williams a chance to do his sort of hyperactive, neurotic performance, and because of that he'll suddenly switch into random characters, which Robin Williams sort of loved to switch into characters and do all sorts of things. So it's a really good film. Go watch this film. Hook. Of course, Robin Williams is the perfect person to play the child that should never have grown up. And it's an interesting concept to it. It's like what happened after the story of Peter Pan. He eventually went off to marry Wendy and had a boring life. And this is him like rediscovering himself as Peter Pan, and it's just a nice little adventure and just so many memorable characters and moments, and just his performance again. It's more of a subdued one to start off with as he goes from like a boring man and recaptures that energetic Peter Pan that everyone knows. So good. Mrs. Doubtfire, come on. If there is a single person that has not seen this film, go and do it. It's again, he was just the master of these sort of heartfelt family comedies, and this is one of his best work. He's a father that's a voice actor, so he gets to go off and do crazy things in that respect. But him and his wife get divorced, and he's not allowed to see the kids, so he makes up this whole nanny character and pretends to be their nanny and has this prosthetic. The performance that gets me the most, the genie from Aladdin. I cannot express just how good he is in this role. He just fits it perfectly. No one else can do this. They're like the genie in the TV series was not as good. Oh, he's just full of energy, madcap. You get the amazing songs. Cause you ain't never had a friend like me. So good. Prince Ali, handsome to see, Ali Abba. This is just his ultimate role. It fits him so well. It's good voice acting, and the animation matches him perfectly. And this is just the single most film that I'll relate to Robin Williams, and the thing that probably made me really aware of him as I watched this in the cinema as a kid. And then from then on, it's like, oh, is that the guy that voiced Genie? Or the guy that is Genie, probably when I was younger. But, such childhood feelings for that film. And it more than holds up today. So, if there's only one film you can watch off the list I've suggested, make it this one. So, thank you for the memories, the laughs, and everything you've done, Robin Williams. And until next time, Robin Williams, Nanu, Nanu.